Welcome to the hidden truth of Raven Hollow, where secrets don't stay buried, they bleed. 30 years of unsolved murders, 12 victims, one name written in blood, yours. In the shadows of this forgotten town, a ledger holds the names of those chosen by fate or by something far darker. This is not just a story of crime, it's a ritual reborn in every generation. If you're ready to uncover the truth behind the crimson handprint, then step into the darkness. And remember, once you open the red ledger, there's no turning back. In the decaying coastal town of Raven Hollow, a retired detective named Elias Mercer receives an anonymous package on his doorstep. Inside, wrapped in newspaper, dated October 31st, 1993, the night his partner was murdered during a botched raid, lies a blood-stained notebook labeled The Red Ledger. Inside, he finds a list of 12 names, all unsolved murder victims from the past 30 years, each marked with a crimson handprint. But one entry chills him to the bone, his own name, dated tomorrow. Elias visits the abandoned cult compound where his partner died. Inside, he finds the same crimson handprint scorched into the floorboards. A survivor's testimony from 1993 resurfaces. The cult worshipped a hungering hand, a spirit that demanded blood to stay dormant. But the survivor vanished weeks later, his body never found. His daughter Lena, a forensic analyst, helps Elias decipher the symbols in the ledger. They point to coordinates leading to a lighthouse on Storm Vale Cliff. There they find a hidden room filled with newspaper clippings of the victims, in a shrine bearing Elias's photo. Mara Voss, the lighthouse keeper, disappears overnight. At her home, Lena finds a map of Raven Hollow with 12 red pins, and a 13th in progress. The ledger's next entry is freshly written. Lena Mercer, tonight. Elias insists she leave town, but she refuses. A DNA test reveals Mara's blood matches samples from all 12 crime scenes. Elias tracks her to a mausoleum where her family plot lies, every grave marked with the handprint. A diary inside reveals Mara's ancestor was the cult's first sacrifice, cursed to serve the hungering hand for eternity. The killer isn't human, it's Mara, reborn through generations via a genetic curse. Lena is kidnapped. Elias receives a video. Lena chained in a cavern, the ledger open beside her. Mara's voice echoes, "The hand hungers. One death to bind the cycle, or 12 will die tonight." Elias races against the clock, but the ledger's pages begin to burn, revealing hidden instructions. To stop the ritual, he must sacrifice someone outside the ledger's bloodline. Elias confronts Mara in the cavern. She begs him to kill her, claiming she's powerless to resist the curse. Lena urges him to do it, but as Elias raises the knife, Mara reveals the truth. The hungering hand isn't a spirit, it's a person. The ledger's real author steps from the shadows, Judge Roland Kane, Raven Hollow's most powerful man, who orchestrated the cult decades ago to eliminate threats. Mara was his scapegoat. A fight ensues. Mara sacrifices herself to buy time, her blood sealing the cavern's ancient symbols. Elias and Lena escape as the cave collapses, burying Judge Kane in the ledger. But days later, a new notebook appears on Elias's porch, blank except for one name, Roland Kane. The handprint is fresh. Lena investigates Kane's estate and finds a vault filled with ledgers dating back 200 years, all with the same crimson handprint. The ritual didn't end with Mara. It's a cycle of power passed from killer to heir. As she flips the latest ledger's final page, her own name appears, and the door slams shut behind her. Elias receives a voicemail from Lena. "Dad, oh, it's inside me now. The symbols, the visions. I can feel it choosing the next name. We thought we broke the chain, but we just passed the pen." The line cuts dead. The camera pans to Elias's reflection in a shattered mirror. His hand drips blood, forming the handprint. Elias finds Lena missing. A single crimson handprint is painted on her laptop screen. In a hidden folder, he discovers a decrypted video file titled The First Offering. It shows a ritual in 1821, robed figures sacrificing a man by the sea. His face bears an uncanny resemblance to Judge Kane. Lena wakes up in a dimly lit room with no memory of how she got there. On the wall are family trees connected to each victim. She realizes the victims weren't random. They were all descendants of people who once tried to expose the cult centuries ago. Elias finds a hidden compartment in Mara's home containing a leather-bound journal dated 1796. It details the origins of the Hungering Hand ritual. The entries describe how the cult would pass leadership through bloodlines, always under new identities, protected by wealth and power. A witness from the 1993 raid emerges from hiding, a former cult member named Father Elias Gray. He reveals that the ledger was created as a failsafe by a rebel faction within the cult, meant to expose and stop the cycle from continuing. Father Gray gives Elias a name not found in the ledger, Isaac Holloway, a boy sacrificed in 1937. His death was erased from records. As Elias digs deeper, he finds photos of Isaac, standing next to a modern-day police chief. Lena escapes her captors using a hidden blade she found in the room. She stumbles into an abandoned church where she finds altars dedicated to every decade's sacrifice. One altar has her photo, still wet with blood. Elias follows the trail to an old printing press building. Inside, he hears voices whispering names from the ledger. Hidden behind a false wall, he finds a soundproof room with recording equipment and hundreds of tapes labeled with dates going back decades. Playing one of the tapes, Elias hears a voice giving orders during a murder in 1985. The same voice now speaks to him through the speaker system. "You were never supposed to find this, Mercer." Lena meets a man named Jonas Vale, another survivor of the Hungering Hand. He tells her that the cult isn't just one group, it's a network of elites across the country, each following the same ritual, each believing they're chosen by fate. Elias finds a sealed envelope addressed to him in Mara's handwriting. Inside is a list of names, current members of the cult. At the top, Mayor Evelyn Drake, her campaign slogan, "For a new Raven Hollow." Elias confronts Mayor Drake at her office. She denies everything, until her phone buzzes. She reads a message, then calmly says, "You forced our hand." Moments later, sirens wail. A fire erupts in the city archives. Lena arrives at the burning archive. She saves a box of old case files before it collapses. Inside are photos of Elias's partner being tortured, and a signature on the documents. Roland Kane's father. Jonas helps Lena trace the cult leaders through generations. Every name changed, but the bloodline remains intact. She finds a shocking truth. Some of the most respected citizens of Raven Hollow are part of the lineage. Elias sneaks into a private event hosted by Mayor Drake. He overhears a conversation about the cleansing and sees a symbol carved into the table, a crimson handprint surrounded by a crown. Lena deciphers the final pages of the ledger. It reveals the exact date and location of the next sacrifice, tonight at the lighthouse. But the target is someone unexpected, a child. Elias and Lena race to the lighthouse. They arrive too late. The child is gone. All that remains is a red handprint drawn in ash on the floor and a note, "You can't stop what you don't understand." The child is identified as Noah Bellamy, son of a local historian who had been investigating the cult. Elias finds Noah's room untouched, except for a drawing on the wall, a man holding a ledger surrounded by flames. Lena discovers an encrypted file in the ledger's digital version. When she decrypts it, she finds a live feed showing Noah alive, but in a room identical to the ones used in past rituals. Elias and Lena follow the signal to an underground bunker beneath the town cemetery. Inside, they find a mirrored chamber where victims are placed during the ritual. The mirrors show distorted versions of themselves, versions that smile and wave. One of the mirrors begins to bleed. From it, A voice whispers, "Join us or be forgotten." Elias tries to smash it, but the mirror absorbs his reflection. Suddenly, he begins seeing things from the mirror's perspective. Elias starts losing time. He wakes up in different places with no memory of how he got there. Lena fears the ritual is affecting his mind. She finds a hidden camera pointing at him, recording every second. Jonas leads them to a hidden vault beneath the town hall. Inside, they find thousands of files, every person ever targeted by the cult. At the center, a book labeled The Final Offering, year 2025. Their names are inside. Father Gray appears again, dying. He hands Elias a key and says, "It opens the door to the first sacrifice. Only there can you break the curse." Moments later, he's gone. The key unlocks a hidden passage beneath the lighthouse. Inside, they find a stone altar covered in ancient symbols. A ghostly figure appears. Silas Grieve, the original cult leader. He warns them, the ledger feeds on fear. Destroy it and the cycle ends. They try to burn the ledger, but the flames won't touch it. Instead, the pages turn on their own, revealing a final entry. Only the blood of the last keeper can end the line. Lena realizes she's the last living descendant of the rebel faction that created the ledger. To destroy it, she must spill her own blood on its final page. Elias refuses, until the walls begin to close in, forcing her hand. Lena cuts her palm and presses it onto the ledger. The room fills with light. The ledger disintegrates into ash. Silas Grieve's spirit vanishes with a scream. The mirrors shatter. The hunger stops. Elias and Lena return to Raven Hollow. No one remembers the cult, the killings, or the ledger. Even the mayor is gone without a trace. The town acts like nothing ever happened. As they pack to leave, Jonas finds a single red handprint carved into the trunk of their car. On the ground, a scrap of paper. The ledger may be gone, but the hunger lives on. In you. The ledger is gone, but the hunger remains. Elias Mercer walks away from Raven Hollow, hoping the nightmare is over. But deep inside, he knows some doors can't be closed forever. And somewhere, in another town, in another time, a new handprint is drawn in blood. A new sacrifice has already begun. Elias stares at his bloodied hand. The crimson handprint pulses once, then vanishes. He looks around the broken mirror, gone. His reflection no longer matches him. Something inside him has changed. He returns to Lena's apartment only to find it untouched, as if she was never taken. But on her desk lies a new red ledger. This one bears his name on the first page. And the date? Today. A knock at the door. It's Jonas Vale, the survivor from earlier. He's not alone. Beside him stands a young woman named Mira, claiming to be Mara Voss reborn. Again. She says the cycle doesn't end with death. It resets. She knows things she shouldn't, including where Lena is. But there's a price for knowing too much. Jonas leads them to an old town map found in the ruins beneath the courthouse. It shows Raven Hollow as it once was. But there's something wrong. A section of land is missing. No records, no names, just a symbol, the crimson handprint. They follow the coordinates. What they find is worse than they imagined. A buried town, sealed under concrete decades ago after a massacre no one remembers, except the ledger. In the buried town, they find homes frozen in time, dust-covered toys, dinner still on tables, and walls filled with drawings of hands, pointing toward a central building, the old town hall. Inside, they discover a chamber with rows of chairs, all facing a single podium. On it, another ledger, this one dated 1937. It lists the names of everyone who lived here. Every single one is marked dead. Mira touches the podium. The room flickers, like a memory replaying itself. They witness the town's final night. People gather willingly. A voice speaks from the shadows. To protect what we have built, we must give what we cannot lose. Then the screams begin. The ritual didn't start in Raven Hollow. It began here, Back in Raven Hollow, Elias receives a letter. No return addresses. Inside, a photograph of Lena, alive, standing in front of a house neither he nor Jonas recognize. Written on the back, "She's waiting for you." But not in this world. They trace the location. It exists, but it's abandoned. Until midnight, when the lights come on, and someone answers the door. Lena opens the door. She doesn't remember how she got there, only that she's been waiting. The house is familiar, too familiar. It mirrors Elias's childhood home. But everything is reversed. The clocks tick backward. Photos show people who haven't been born yet. A bookshelf moves on its own. Behind it, a hidden passage. At the end, a door labeled, "The Next Chapter." Elias steps through the door. The world shifts. He's standing in Raven Hollow, but it's different. Brighter, cleaner, no signs of decay. People walk the streets, happy, normal, too normal. He sees himself in a newspaper headline. Renowned investigator exposes dark legacy. He turns the page. There's no story, just a list of names. His name is at the top. Elias finds Lena again, but she's different, calm, distant. She says she's free now, that the hunger is gone, but her eyes don't blink. He reaches for her hand. It's cold. Suddenly the sky darkens. The happy town fades away, replaced by shadows crawling across buildings. The crimson handprint appears in the sky. "You were warned. You opened the ledger. Now you will write the ending." Elias wakes up in the lighthouse. The new ledger is open. His hand hovers over the pen. He writes a single line. "I am the last keeper. I end the line." As he finishes, the wind howls. The candles go out. The walls shake. A voice whispers from the darkness, "So be it." The screen cuts to black. Then a final whisper, echo, and somewhere, a new ledger begins. The ledger is gone, but the hunger remains. Elias Mercer walks away from Raven Hollow, hoping the nightmare is over. But deep inside, he knows some doors can't be closed forever. And somewhere, in another town, in another time, a new handprint is drawn in blood. A new sacrifice has already begun. Did you hear that? Your name is next. If you've made it this far, thank you for walking through the shadows with us. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to Hidden Dimension AI, and turn on notifications so you never miss a new story. Because the next chapter might just be about you.